was president of Al Jamaat at that particular time. And I stood up and I told him, I said, it's been 20 years I've been a Muslim now, but this is the first time I really believe that I actually have become a Muslim after these first 20 years. It took me 20 years to get here. And once you get something in your heart, and everything that I've tried to do to change it, to upset those things that I figured that I was believing in, and I tried to get them to turn them over in a way that to get a negative side. There were no negative sides. So, for me, that was easy, and I still feel that way.
You know, you talked about after 20 years where it became kind of solidified that you were a Muslim. Was there any, that is like a defining moment. Was there any event or anything that led up to that, or that, led you to that realization?
Yes. I've been married 3 times. My first 2 marriages, my first marriage, I became a Muslim as I accepted Islam. I prayed for that wife to become an Ahmadi, and it never happened. We ended in divorce. In my second marriage, the same thing happened. I prayed and I thought it was going to be, and it lasted 13 years. In my present marriage, after the 13 years, we were separated and we ended in divorce, and I moved in an apartment, and I moved next door to this the lady who I'm married to right now. She was 24 years younger than me. And she said to me one day, there was a laundromat in the basement in the building. She said to me one day, says, I'm going to marry you. And I did the same thing you did. I laughed. I said, I'll find you a boyfriend. That's what I'll do. So when I did do that, I went to work one day, and this guy was asking me, I was telling him about this young lady that lived next door to me. And he said, well, give me her telephone number. I gave it to him. He called her, and the next day I saw him, he was blessing me out. He says, look, why you tell me to go to see somebody that don't want to see me? They want to see you. So to make this short, several days, some time passed, and she said to me, I had a dream, and I want to tell you about it. And I says, what was the dream? She says, I was walking across the street in the dream, and these Muslim women were standing on the corner, and they kept staring at me. And I laughed, and I thought it was just a ploy trying to get me in, because I had already told her that if I married again, it was going to be a Muslim, and she would be an Ahmadi Muslim. Well, she didn't know what an Ahmadi Muslim was. She didn't know what a Muslim was, really. So some time passed, and she told me again. She said, I had another dream, and I want to tell you about it. I said, you did? What did you dream about now? She says, I saw this old man praying in the field around the corner from the house, and he called me. And she said, it scared me so bad. She said, it woke me up in the dream, and I woke up. And she said, I couldn't go to sleep the rest of the night. And I laughed at that, because I said, here's another one, this girl is really trying hard. So she was during Ramadan, and we were going to the masjid on the weekends and for the reading of the Quran. And so she asked me one day, she says, can I go with you? So I thought about it, and I said, oh yeah, come on, go with me. She got in the car, and I took her and I introduced her to some of the sisters, and the sisters took her over at the masjid. And maybe a week or so passed, and I was ill, and I could not go to the masjid for reading. So I called a sister, our elder sister, who had accepted me as her and her husband accepted me as their son. And they they came by my house, or came by her apartment, picked her up, took her to the masjid. My phone rang shortly thereafter, and we were expecting some guests at the masjid that particular day because they had some particular business that had to be taken care of. And they came, and she called me crying. I said, what's wrong with you? She said, that man that I told you in the dream, you remember the dream I told you about? I said, what dream? She said, the dream I told you that the man was praying. She says, he's here. I said, what do you mean he's there? She says, he's here in the mosque. I just saw him, I heard him speak, and I knew it was him, and I looked up and that was him. Well, at that time, I didn't know who the man was. I didn't know the man at that time. It was Sheikh Mubarak I met. I didn't know Sheikh Mubarak. He had just came in this country, and I had a chance to meet him. But she saw him in the dream months before he had arrived. That convinced me that, hey, Hamza, you know the wife you've been praying for? She's here. That day, when she came home, I invited her to my apartment. We sit down. I talked to her. I asked her, I said, you really want to marry me? She said, yes. I said, when do you want to set a date? We set a date that day, which was about 2 months ahead of that, and we got married. That was a defining moment for me.
I'll say, that's amazing. Amazing story. You've been with us now for this weekend. We're delighted to have you here. If you had a final message for the Quran today, as far as anything that you liked that you saw, and also some things that you maybe see as needing improvement with our Quran, what would you say?
What I like, I see some unity here that I've never seen before. I've been talking about it to Brother Kareem and to our host family that we stayed with. I haven't seen anything here that I don't like. I'm glad to say that. When I came into this movement, I didn't see this. For many years, I didn't see this. I see there's something in the air here that you fellas have presented here. I mean, there's a love here that I can't bring into words. My vocabulary don't give me that words to say. I see that young men here from all over the country, as Brother Kareem was saying to me yesterday, there were times that you couldn't get people to come 50 miles. And I see all of you young men here, and you didn't come here to play. It seemed like that everybody was sincere and serious. And that's what we need in this Jamaat, a lot of sincerity. I don't see anyone here with big heads. And by that I mean, when I came into this Jamaat, I met a lot of brothers who they felt, well, I know more than you, and I don't want to be bothered with you. I didn't see any of that. And I am proud of what I see. I have nothing negative to say about it.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Zindabad. Zindabad.